What's up? What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel, Sports, Life, and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, YouTube's #1 couch detective, and I'm here for the news. And today I'm going to be going over several clips. But this first clip I'm going to be going over is a very heinous act of a person who is a transgender person who ran over a man, backed up, ran him over again, got out the car, kissed him on the mouth, slit his throat, and stabbed him 9 times. That's something that you usually only see in the movies. But we living in a world now, these type of heinous acts are occurring on the regular. It used to be, if you had a Columbine or you had a mass shooting, those stories had legs. They would last for months. Now these stories, you're lucky to get a full day out of them before another heinous act happened. That's how regularly these things are starting to happen now. I remember maybe about 20 years ago, Arnold Schwarzenegger had a movie called End of Days. And in that movie, the devil was actually in New York City. He came in the flesh and was entering people's body as a demonic spirit. And I always talk about in these movies, a lot of times these movies are predictive programming. They tell the truth in TV shows and movies, and they try to lie to you in the news. But if you can read in between the lines, and use some discernment, you can kind of figure a lot of this stuff out. But this person right here, who's a transgender person, if the shoe was on the other foot and this white man would have ran over this black transgender, they would have used this on every television station about how this community is not safe. But because it was a transgender person who actually harmed this person, a male, it's not. They're going to bury that in the algorithms. They're not going to put that to the forefront. Now, yes, you can find the story, but we know, look, if there was shoes on the foot, you could find it on the front of every feed. Let's take a look at this clip. Very heinous act.
On 13. It may be one of Houston's most horrifying murders caught on camera.
And it happened in full view of neighbors in a subdivision near the Gulf Freeway in the Pecan Park neighborhood. ABC 13's Brooke Taylor is joining us now here in the studio.
Yeah, and Brooke, this really shocked a lot of us here in the newsroom.
It did, and sources close to this case tell me that this is some of the most horrifying footage they have seen in their careers. Police haven't said if the victim knew the killer, but they're hoping that a neighbor's video leads to a quick conviction and justice for his family. Only on 13, deeply disturbing and shocking video of a murder in broad daylight. On May 3rd, the victim, Stephen Anderson, is walking on Woodridge Square Drive to pick up his mail, sources tell us. He turns around at the sound of a screeching car speeding right into him.
And I'm gonna say, like, when you see that, when the car was screeching, because you could hear the car screech, he looked back. Most people, especially black people, any signs of danger, we usually know how to get out of the way. Now I know he is a little bit older gentleman, but when he looked back and heard that screeching and the way that car was coming around that corner, he should have immediately got all the way on the sidewalk. You can see he took a double look, though. Let's take a look again. Look, watch his double look.
Stephen Anderson is walking on Woodridge Square Drive to pick up his mail, sources tell us. He turns around at the sound of a screeching car
one look.
right into him.
Double look.
We're pausing the video right before he gets hit. The car reverses and hits him again, pushing him further into the street. Neighbors are on the phone, frantically calling 911. Another neighbor comes out with a pillow. And that's when the suspect, Karon Fisher, identified in court records as a man, but also described as she by police, returns with a knife in hand. The suspect yanks and flips Anderson over, straddles him, and kisses him. We're not showing what happens next because it's too graphic, but that's when police say Fisher...
And I would think and assume that they knew each other. But in this next clip, we'll find out if they actually knew each other. I think we all would assume that they know each other.
Stabs him 9 times. She casually walks off as if nothing happened and neighbors just watch. She then tries getting into another car while talking to witnesses. When that's unsuccessful, she leaps over the body and walks away.
It's very disturbing, yeah, because, I have kids here. So, our kids could have been out here playing and imagine that.
20-year-old Karon Fisher is in jail tonight, charged with murdering the 64-year-old. Her bond is set at $2 million.
It was a busy intersection. It happened right under our noses,
Just truly so shocking. I spoke to neighbors that you saw in that video. They are still traumatized by that, as you can imagine. One woman even told me that she hasn't been to work and is trying to find a therapist.
This is a heavy story right here, and it's hard to get some context here as well, Broden. We know the suspect's 20 years old. Have they been in trouble before?
You know, the night that this happened, she was also charged with assaulting a nurse at Bentop Hospital, and we checked records, and back in 2023, she was charged with evading arrest, and she's been on a 5-year community supervision from that. We also found a prostitution charge from 2021, and that charge was ultimately
A 2021 prostitution charge, only 20 years old. So that means this person, when the prostitution charge is only 16, maybe 16 years old. That's
evading arrest, and she's been on a 5-year community supervision from that. We also found a prostitution charge from 2020, and that charge was ultimately dismissed.
I think they said 2021. I'm thinking because prostitution charge, yeah, but like I said before, you would think these two people know each other because it seems like a crime of passion. That's very, very. That's one of the most disturbing things you're possibly going to see. I mean, it's like it's one thing to shoot somebody. It's another thing to get out the car and pick their eyeballs out. No, I mean, this is just deplorable and disgusting. But let's take a look at this next clip and actually see that these two people actually know each other or not.
A 20-year-old is behind bars accused of running over a man twice and then stabbing him.
Karon Fisher was in court today for a bond hearing. Anayeli Ruiz joins us live from Southeast Houston off Woodridge near I-45 with the latest on this case. Anayeli.
Well, that's right. It happened here at this complex. Prosecutors, tell us the victim was actually walking home from his mail when he was hit by a complete stranger, they say. And of course, we want to warn you the following details are very disturbing.
And there it is. They saying this is a random person, a random act, and they were strangers to one another. They had no idea. So that let you know this person was mentally unstable. There's no doubt about that. And obviously within that person, this person's spirit is a huge confusion and confliction within their own spirit. And a demonic spirit on top of that. There's no doubt about that. And this person also was sexually abused as a child. There's no doubt in my mind. I always leave room in my videos. I could be wrong, but I would bet everything I got.
Here you see here in the orange jumpsuit was in the 230 District Court today for a bond hearing on a murder charge.
It was shocking when I saw it.
Prosecutors working this case say the way Fisher killed the victim was pretty gruesome.
The brutality is probably the worst I've ever seen in my 10 years at the DA's office.
They say Fisher, who in court documents is identified as a male, intentionally ran over 64-year-old Stephen Anderson with a vehicle Fisher had stolen, and it was all caught on camera.
The video shows the defendant running over the complainant, targeting him, and then reversing over him. And then she crashed the vehicle into an apartment complex.
But prosecutors say Fisher allegedly took it a step further.
That's how it walks up with the knife. She turns his body over, straddles him, and then she kisses him, and then slits his throat and stabs him somewhere between 7 and 10 times. And then she gets up and walks away.
As for why Fisher would allegedly do this, well, prosecutors are...
Hey, they can make a scary movie out of this person. My good, who, what? You have to wonder, is this their first time harming somebody? Is their first time actually killing somebody? I don't know. I mean, the way that person was so nonchalant about it, like this person could harm over and over again. There's no doubt about that.
Still trying to figure that out, but they believe mental health and drugs may have played a factor.
Originally, I thought there may be some type of relationship between the complainant and the defendant, but what we know at this point is that there was no relationship. It was complete strangers. So that made it even more shocking and horrific.
Prosecutors say Fisher is facing another charge for assaulting a nurse while at the hospital.
My understanding is she was taken to Bentop, and they were trying to restrain her, and she had kicked one of the nurses that was there.
And Fisher is at the Harris County Jail on a $900,000 bond for the murder charge for assaulting the nurse and for a prior arrest of evading arrest. Of course, the next court hearing is set for July 24th. Reporting live in Southeast Houston, Ana Yeli Ruiz, KHOU 11 News.
Quite a disturbing case. All right, thank you so much, Ana Yeli Ruiz.
And like I said before, man, these things are getting more and more frequent, and it's more and more disturbing. This was a very disturbing case. But like in the movie End of Days, where the devil was jumping from one body to the next, we have another demon or a demonic spirit jump from this body to his body. This man is accused of stabbing 3 girls at a movie theater and 2 other people at a McDonald's. As you can see, he is also look like he's mentally disturbed. There's no doubt about that. Let's take a look at the clip.
Tonight about the man accused in a string of violent attacks on the South Shore, including the random stabbing of 4 girls at a Braintree movie theater. As WBZ's Brandon Truitt shows us, the suspect is now out of the hospital and behind bars.
There's still a lot of questions around this violent spree, but the mother of one of the victims from this movie theater says she wants to see accountability. This is how the search for 26-year-old Jared Ravisa ended on Saturday. A car crash.
Damn, he's 26. He looked like a 47-year-old ex-rock and roll goddamn legend. He looks whooped to be 26. He is shot out to be 26. My God.
The 4th and final scene in a violent spree that spanned multiple states. WBZI team sources say it started in Deep River, Connecticut. That's where Ravisa is wanted in connection with a murder investigation. Neighbors there tell our CBS affiliate WFSB Ravisa was renting the place.
He would come down here, visit us with the poodle. We'd sit, we'd chat, we'd talk about, where he was from.
You might want to check his search history too. Allegedly, there could be some kind of kiddie porn. He said they was hanging out and he seemed cool. Looks, birds of a feather flock together. People who are equal yoke tend to attract one another. These people, I don't know about this guy right here. I mean, allegedly. Let's take look at him. Allegedly.
There tell our CBS affiliate WFSB Ravisa was renting the place.
He would come down here, visit us with the poodle. We'd sit, we'd chat, we'd talk about, where he was from, where I was from, and we got along great for 2 weeks.
Kindred spirits.
He drove to this age.
Listen to me. If somebody did something like that, there's no way I would get on camera and say we got along great for 2 weeks. I'm sorry. I didn't want to stop the video, but that's unbelievable. He could have said, hey, man, yeah, I seen him. I met him a couple times, man, but this is terrible, man. What he did, hopefully he pays the full price. I wouldn't even go into, we hung out. We had a few beers. We really enjoyed each other's company. Great guy. I'm sorry, not great guy, but I mean just, we really enjoyed each other's company. What the hell is he talking about?
Theater in Braintree. It's where he allegedly stabbed 4 girls under the age of 17.
They don't want to go to the movies ever again.
Lisa Dembowski is the mother of 3 of the victims. The other was a family friend. She says the girls were the only ones in the theater when Ravisa walked up, started laughing, and stabbed them.
My oldest was leaned over to get something. He got her in the back, and then my other daughter in the top chest, and then my last daughter across her arm.
Dembowski says the injured girls ran out of the theater but got little to no help from AMC staff. Group responding to those claims saying, quote, "We have already begun to conduct a thorough review of this incident. Based on theater associate accounts and video footage, the theater team jumped into action immediately."
Well, that ain't what the girl said. The girl said the theater staff, they got little to no help. But I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want a person who works at the movie theater to do. They're not going to give you a lot of help. They're not trained in anything but putting extra butter on the popcorn, Jack. That's all you're going to get out of them. So I don't know how much help if I work at the movie theater and I'm a young person, I'm trying to run. I don't want to get stabbed either. Shit, you already been stabbed. I ain't trained to combat nobody with no damn knife.
From Braintree, Ravisa drove to the McDonald's at the rest stop in Plymouth, where police say he stabbed 2 employees there in their 20s, but he kept going, leading police on a chase toward the Cape, where he ultimately crashed and was placed on a stretcher and under arrest.
Yeah, that's him right there. Oh my God. I would have swore up and down. He was a 52-year-old ex-rock band member from Van Halen. Unbelievable.
Somebody that had to know something was wrong with him prior to all of this.
Of course they did. Of course they did, ma'am.
Her girls and their injured friend will be okay, but she wants accountability and answers.
I have no idea who this person is. I hope he gets what he deserves.
Ravisa was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. He will have his first court appearance tomorrow in Braintree. Brandon Truitt, WBZ News.
In that question, you wonder, was he attacking just little girls? Because it seemed like, 'cause obviously, if you're gonna go on a spree, you can kind of attack who you want because they don't, you can't see it coming. They don't know that you're about to attack. So it looked like he was targeting young little girls. You would wonder, like, what's his background? Is he a pedophile? Has he been doing this type of stuff? Was he on medication? What kind of medication? And just the same with this other transgender person right here. They said they was trying to restrain this. Had this person been to the psych ward? What was the evaluation on that? What medication was they using? Obviously, something's going on. And these are strange cases. Let's take a look at this. This is another little clip of the mom and 3 girls stabbed at the movie theater. Get some more details out of this.
Daughters were at the movies on Saturday night when Lisa Dembowski got the call.
I needed to get to the AMC movie theater right away because they had been stabbed.
According to authorities, Jared Reviza attacked Dembowski's 3 daughters and a friend with a knife in their seats, unprovoked.
My oldest was leaned over to get something. He got her in the back, and then my other daughter in the top chest, and then my last daughter across her arm.
The girls, ages 9 to 17, sustained non-life-threatening injuries. An hour later, police say 26-year-old Reviza, who lives on the wealthy island of Martha's Vineyard, went to a rest stop McDonald's, stabbing one employee in the drive-thru and another inside. According to authorities, Reviza fled in his black Porsche SUV, which he crashed. He was then arrested. Multiple law enforcement sources tell NBC Boston the stabbings may be connected to a death investigation in Connecticut. So far, Reviza faces multiple charges, including assault with intent to murder. Dembowski says her daughters are physically okay, but definitely rattled.
I think it's a pretty sick individual to harm.
Well, you would imagine he's been harmed before. And whatever this other case is, they talking about being investigated for murder. 9 times out of 10, he did that. Not only did he do that, he's done other crimes in the past. And not only that, this man is also a Luciferian. There's no doubt in my mind. I would love to see his social media website. I guarantee you there's always the truth. When you go to a social media website, people kind of let it all hang out, what their religious beliefs is, who they believe in, and what they believe in.
Well done.
Reviza is expected in court tomorrow. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things. They said they was looking for more help from the movie attendants. Hey, man, all they know how to do up there is put hot dogs and buns, cheese on nachos, and extra butter on the popcorn. They are not trained in knife attacks. Let's take a look at this next clip, you guys. Teen recovering after bear attack. I don't know what it is about white people, but they have they're like magnets to wild animals. And I'm not talking about it in a good way. It seems like they're always getting mauled by a badger, slapped by a bear, kicked by a tiger, choked by a monkey. There's something's always going wrong with white people and these damn animals. And a lot of times they cause it themselves, but occasionally it's just dumb luck. But whatever it is, they tend to have a magnetism with these wild animals. Let's take a look at the clip.
Is inside his family's cabin in eastern Arizona when that black bear got inside and started swiping at him. Zach Poletsky spoke with the boy's mother and game and fish
I think that black bear was a little racist.
officials today. So first off, Zach, how is he doing?
Well, guys, Carol Hawkins says her son Brigham is doing better today after he was in the hospital Thursday night from that bear attack to his head and arm. Hawkins says she's grateful her son is alive.
Hanging out at the family cabins in Alpine is a long-time summer tradition for Carol Hawkins and her family. But what her 15-year-old son Brigham went through with the 3-year-old black bear was a first for them.
Never in our wildest dreams did we think one would come in the home.
Hawkins says Brigham was inside one of the cabins by himself when a black bear came in through the side door.
He hadn't realized it because it came in from behind and it reached over and swiped his face twice, got him on the nose and the cheek, and then it went ahead and got his forehead and the top of his head.
The bear left the cabin before...
Well, he's extremely lucky that the bear just wanted to slap him around a little bit. That's plainly obvious, because the bear wanted to kill him, the bear could have killed him. So him getting slapped a couple of times is a blessing.
coming back in and started attacking Brigham again. Brigham started screaming, and that's when his older brother ran over to find out what was going on and helped chase away the bear from Brigham along with Brigham's dad.
It was thanks to the quick reaction by his brother and his family that they were able to distract the bear from what very easily in a matter of seconds could have turned into a real tragedy there.
Law enforcement killed the bear around 120 feet away from the cabin. The bear's body was taken to the state health lab where it's being...
Wait a minute, how you gonna kill the bear? What the hell, what kind of racist shit? They're gonna kill the black bear because he slapped the white boy. Listen to me, that bear, you in his hood. How you gonna come to his hood, build a cabin in his hood, and be surprised he's scavenging for food where he lives? You left the door open, so he came on in and thought it was all good. Shit, you should have left a picnic basket out there. You wouldn't have had that problem. Hey, man. Hey, you might say you should. Some people might feel sorry for. No, you go into the wildlife area where wildlife is. I have watched more videos of white people getting attacked by animals. It is hard to feel sorry for them because they go into these bears' territory and into their area, or to their domain. I just don't understand it. Then they kill the poor goddamn black bear. The bear didn't kill the boy, just slapped him around a little bit. My goodness.
examined and tested for rabies.
Having an attack is actually extremely rare.
Hawkins says Brigham was diagnosed with a rare neurological disorder when he was younger.
Everything he goes through, he greets it with a smile, and honestly, he's the most grateful kid I've ever seen in my life.
Thankfully, Hawkins says her son was treated at the local hospital and has started the rabies vaccine as a precaution, but is expected to recover.
Everybody that came in to help him, he had a big thank you, and so he's handling it well, and he'll be okay.
This bear attack was the 16th documented in Arizona since 1990. Game and Fish officials say if you ever find yourself in a bear encounter, do not run, throw items, and yell at the bear. Back away slowly while maintaining eye contact, and if attacked, fight back. Now, Hawkins says the family still does plan on heading back to Alpine and the family cabin at some point
in the near
future. For now, reporting live in the newsroom, Zach Perletsky for Arizona's Family.
Look, I don't want nobody to get attacked by no bear, but if you're in a domain, it is what it is. And he was a black bear, and his name probably was Tyrone. And the cops probably told him to freeze. Freeze, Tyrone! And Tyrone turned around looking, they shot Tyrone any goddamn way. Unbelievable. Well, let's take a look at this next clip. New Zealand man fined for trying to body slam a killer whale. Once again, I always ask the question, do white people hate animals? I would say no. Do animals hate white people? I would say no. Do white people respect animals? Absolutely not. Let's take a look at the clip. First man in history to try to go WWE on a killer whale. Sweet chin music. I mean, God, why it could have been a full pod and they could have just ripped him to shreds. I swear, I don't care. I don't feel no empathy. Who tries to do a belly flop on top of a killer whale? God, please, next time, let him get ripped to shreds. Please, Lord. Please. I mean, this is so preposterous. You ever notice this never happens to Negroes? I mean, never. You might get a nigga stung by a bee or mosquito or some shit like that. You can get us, but it's you. I can guarantee you, we not gonna be next to the goddamn beehive. We not gonna be running down the Badger Trail. We not gonna be in the lion's den. We not gonna be in the whale's goddamn pod, swimming in his pod. We ain't doing none of that. So when they do this type of shit, I always root for the animal. He's still out there. It's two up. Oh, get him, please, Lord, get him. Go, Lord. And then, listen, Mel, I don't know if it was the last video or the video before this last, it might have been 2 videos ago. I covered them killer whales off the Mediterranean, off the coast of Morocco and Spain, where they didn't sunk so many boats and then tore up like 100 boats and sunk like 10 of them. And you wonder why. This the type of reason why. This type of wackiness and silliness is the reason why. But let's take a look at this next clip. This is North Korea rocket carrying spy satellite explodes mid-fight. Now that makes me think that I talked about this when the Iranian president died, and somebody in the comments was like, "Oh, okay, you just conspiracy." No, they do have EMPs. They do have lasers on drones. They do have lasers on ships. They do have lasers from low Earth orbits. They can hack shit. Hey man, this is real. This thing didn't explode by accident. Now, it could have, but they say this is the second one that exploded. Do I think the West has something to do with that? 100% allegedly.
I want to turn to some developing news we're following today out of North Korea, the country failing to launch its second spy satellite into orbit. South Korea and Japan reported that North Korea launched a missile into the sea. Japan originally issued a shelter alert for people on Okinawa Island. That has since been lifted. North Korea sent a military reconnaissance satellite into orbit last November, and leader Kim Jong-un promised to launch 3 more this year.
And as you can see, they're not letting him do it right now. So yeah, there's no doubt about that. The United States then crippled that for a little while. Let's take a look at this. Nail tech connected to alleged North Korean scheme to infiltrate the United States. This happens all the time. Usually the United States will let that happen, and then they will like to see who you're in communication with. They'll let it happen for years, as long as they can monitor it. They don't mind that. That was like when they had the secret Chinese police station in New York. They do that from the time that people got there. They monitored it the whole time, and the only reason they end up busting and stopping because they was actually about to physically harm somebody, so they ended up busting the whole ring. But they don't mind this type of shit. They like to watch and monitor this type of stuff. Let's take a look at the clip. And then sometime you can flip it and turn him into a double agent like the movies. That happens too. Let's take a look at this.
At the Bowie, Maryland now for this next story that's all new at 5 tonight. A 39-year-old licensed manicurist has allegedly found himself tangled up with North Koreans and in a lot of trouble with the FBI.
So Min Vong is being accused of helping to funnel U.S. cash to North Korea. So U.S. investigators claim it is part of a wide-reaching North Korean scheme to get around international sanctions and fund its nuclear weapons program.
All right, so Vaughn claims it all started with someone contacting him while he was gaming on the internet, but he's now facing some serious charges. Here's our Scott Broom in Bowie to explain.
Behind me here, the Allure Nail Spa in Bowie, where coworkers here say Min Vong has not showed up to work for a couple of weeks. And you gotta ask yourself, how does a Vietnamese-American guy with 2 kids and a manicure license here in Bowie end up accused by the FBI of working with the North Koreans? Here's Vong in a photo he allegedly sent to a North Korean agent who then used the credentials to pose as Vong and access U.S. defense contractors' computer systems. Vong told FBI agents he got sucked in by text messages from a stranger he was gaming online with, who said he knew an easy way Vong could make some good money. Vong took the bait. Here are screen grabs of the North Korean allegedly posing as Vong. According to a sweeping federal indictment, the North Korean is an IT worker, part of an army of North Koreans, mostly in China and Russia, who are scamming their way into U.S. companies to do lucrative freelance IT work and then send the U.S. cash they earn to the North Korean regime, which is desperate for Western money to fund its nuclear weapons program. Investigators say the North Korean convinced Vong to cook up a fake resume so convincing he actually got hired by an unnamed Northern Virginia IT firm with important defense industry contracts. Once Vong picked up his company ID and computer, he's accused of sending it to the North Korean guy who was in China, and then the North Korean used the machine and credentials to access the company and run up invoices for freelance work in Vong's name while working remote.
So he let that man run up a bunch of money into his name. You got to be about as dumb as a box of rocks. Are you kidding me? That's the oldest trick in the book. Well, we gonna make a couple extra dollars for you. It's gonna be easy. You don't have to do nothing. You damn sure don't. All you got to do is serve all that time. That's all you got to do, because they not extraditing that other dude who's doing it. If he's doing it out of China, Russia, North Korea, wherever he's at, he's not getting extradited. You got to do all this time. Man, I guarantee you he made probably $10,000, if that. It wasn't like he wasn't making money hand over fist. I guarantee it. That's if he ever even seen the money.
Is then accused of taking a cut of the paychecks for the work he didn't do and forwarding the rest of the cash to the North Koreans. Crazy, right? Well, the arrest here in Bowie is just the tip of a far-reaching federal takedown of the alleged North Korean scheme announced by the Department of Justice this week, reaching into multiple states and several countries. Here in Bowie, Vaughn's family and a neighbor said they knew federal agents had been talking to him, and they don't know where Vaughn is now. In Bowie, Scott Broom, WUSA 9.
Listen to me. I guarantee you he'd rather be scrubbing somebody's ashy foot or putting a French tip on somebody's hand than be fucking around and doing what he's doing now in FBI custody. There's no doubt about that. But we got one last clip of the day. I was going to cover Sean Kingston's mother, but I don't really care about that too much. But they got a SoCal plumber poison elderly man. Let's take a look at this clip. Another sicko doing it all for the Benjamins.
A murder investigation unfolding in Ventura County tonight involving a Camarillo plumber who detectives say poisoned an elderly customer to steal his money. The plumber was already facing murder charges in connection with another homicide when detectives discovered the sinister plot.
Mary Beth McDade is live in the KTLA News Center with the chilling details. MB.
McIntyre prosecutors were preparing their case against this Camarillo plumber for allegedly murdering a co-worker for financial gain. That's when they say they discovered some suspicious bank activity between the plumber and another man. That man had supposedly died of natural causes, but they say after exhuming his body, they learned he had actually been murdered with fentanyl.
38-year-old Rothery Foster, a plumber from Camarillo, was awaiting trial for murdering his co-worker, 35-year-old Jose Velasquez, when Ventura County prosecutors say they made a startling discovery. Velasquez wasn't the first man Foster had allegedly murdered for money.
They saw a troubling and similar pattern. The potential for murder for financial gain.
Foster was charged last summer for murdering Velasquez, whose body was found in the Santa Monica Mountains in October 2022. Authorities say they learned Foster had been using the victim's credit card.
I mean, well, murdering somebody is not smart in general. And, obviously it's morally, ethically wrong. But I'm saying, like, how do you think you're going to use somebody's credit cards in the United States? They monitoring all that. Somebody come up dead and then the credit cards are still being used. You have to be kidding me. I mean, the stupidity. So he's being investigated for one murder, and then he all of a sudden murders another person. Now all of a sudden he's addicted to murder. That's his new drug. He's snorting lines of murder.
Defendant violently and forcibly took ATM passwords and checks from Velasquez and used those financial instruments for gas, cash, clothing, and food.
In preparation to prosecute Foster for Velasquez.
So he killed that man for the bare essentials of life. Gas, clothing, and food. You gotta be kidding me. I'm gonna hear it one more time.
And use those financial instruments for gas, cash, clothing, and food.
The basic essentials.
In preparation to prosecute Foster for Velasquez's murder, they obtained the victim's bank records and noticed several suspicious bank transactions between Foster's account and an account belonging to 72-year-old Bill Levy of Granada Hills. Prosecutors began looking into what the connection was between Foster and Levy.
Mr. Foster, it was learned, worked for a large plumbing company who had dispatched to the Granada Hills townhouse on several occasions.
They also discovered that Levy, who was never married and lived alone, had been found.
Uh-oh. A white man. I ain't gonna say white, but a man in general, elderly, never married and lived alone. I want to check his search history. Yeah, you want to look and see what the hell he got going on, because that ain't normal. I wondered did he like the other team, but even at that, they said he was alone. But yeah, usually I always say this about homosexuality. That's usually a young person game. Usually you don't see really two really old men together. You notice that? You never see two really older men kissing and hugging. You just don't see it. It's really, I always talk about lesbianism. That's really a young woman's game and a pretty woman's game, because a pretty woman can dabble in and out. But you know, the older people, yeah, you don't really see that too often. Two old motherfuckers, they don't really want each other.
In his townhouse on January 10th, 2022, supposedly from natural causes. And all those suspicious deposits from Levy's account into Foster's took place the next day. Well, authorities thought that was too much of a coincidence and had Levy's body exhumed.
The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office performed the autopsy, and the results showed that Mr. Levy's cause of death was the effects of fentanyl, and they ruled Mr. Levy's manner of death as a homicide.
After further investigation, Foster was arrested for Levy's murder this past Monday. So, how did the medical examiner miss this years ago? Well, the DA says an autopsy was never originally conducted.
And the medical examiner had conversations with the primary care physician of Mr. Levy. There were conversations about the state of his health, and it was determined on the basis of those conversations that an autopsy was not needed, that most likely the cause of death was of natural causes.
Prosecutors say they've linked Foster.
They didn't look that day. It was like 72 dead, natural causes. Believe me, they didn't dig too deep. Yeah, that's why they couldn't give you no details. He's older and he's his health, and they didn't say what health. Did he have heart issues? Was he? Because you could be 72 and pretty healthy. That happens in today's society. If you take care of yourself, eat right, exercise, shit, he could still be healthy. So yeah, that was a blunder right there. No doubt about that.
To other crimes and other victims, and tell us he has also served time in the early 2000s for manslaughter and assault with a deadly weapon. For now, reporting live here in News Center, Mary Beth McDade. We'll send back to you guys in the studio.
Oh, he's
thank you.
He's a killer for sure. This man right here, that's a killer right there for sure. Ain't no doubt about that. Like I said before, a lot of times when these people kill and they get caught, that don't be their first time harming or hurting somebody. There's no doubt. That man went in there and stabbed these kids in the movie theater. He was already been investigated for another murder. And I guarantee you before that, he hurt and harmed somebody else. This person right here is sick and mentally disturbed. You always wonder, like, what else, they got caught for this, but what did they get away with, That's one thing about, if you ever been to jail or you go to jail, them people in jail, the crime that they got caught for, it pales in comparison to how many crimes they actually committed and got away with. Especially them hardened criminals. Boy, they get away. They done 100 crimes before they get busted for one. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, I just wanted to go over these clips, you guys. There's no doubt about that. A lot of heinous acts that are just basically like an everyday occurrence at this point. Sad to see. Prayers out. Ain't no doubt about it. It's a demonic spirit over this country. And, these things are going to keep on happening. There's no doubt about that. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been Sports, Life, and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, YouTube's #1 couch detective. Hit that like. Hit that subscribe. I just took your ass on the end of days. A demonic spirit jumped from body to body ride. Peace.